Hi everyone, my name is Jeremy, and thank you for joining me here today. Did you know that about 1 in 5 Americans suffers from addiction in some form or another? Be that shopping, gambling, eating, or drug abuse. Now, it's a lot more nuanced and complicated than to just stop, and today we're going to be taking a look at what true recovery actually entails. Now, I am personally a person in recovery. I am 16 months sober, and um, recovery encompasses your entire life. It's not just um, putting down the drugs. It's changing old habits, old places, old mentalities. It's a very holistic approach. You have to change your entire life. Now, the internal changes need to happen first, and that's things like accountability or honesty or letting go of denial. You need to be able to look at the things you've done and say, yes, I did that, whether it's good or bad. Accountability is very important, and without honesty, we wouldn't know that we had a problem or be able to connect with our peers. Now, people will say that substances are the problem, and while yes, they're right, in our sense, it was our solution to problems, things that we were trying to avoid or run away from. Just as an example, like alcohol to get rid of social anxiety, a social lubricant. Now, there's also an external structure to this. That would involve things like boundaries, standards, and new environments and friends. For instance, boundaries. I won't go there, I won't do that, I won't let someone speak to me in this manner of way, or they can even be internal boundaries where, I won't speak to myself that way. And then new people and new places. There's a saying that you can't get well in the same environment that you got sick in, and I personally believe that's true. And then things like habits. Your daily habits shape your character and your destiny ultimately. I think it's very important to have good daily habits. I pray, I do gratitude, I always brush my teeth, I bathe regularly. It's just good habits make a person. And there's a saying that says, build a life that's not worth throwing away. And once you achieve that, real recovery is possible. Now, recovery is sustained by purpose, meaning, and growth. We need goals, things to constantly strive towards. We need some kind of purpose beyond just surviving, just getting by day to day. That does not sound like a life worth living to me if I'm just surviving. We need some greater purpose behind what we're doing. We need a reason. And then there's also a spiritual aspect to this. And that doesn't necessarily need to be like God or higher power or anything like that. Spirituality can simply be knowing your place in the universe and that you're secure in that and that you do have a purpose. Now, when we talk about addiction, we now have to talk about not just the substance abuse, but life as a whole. And the beautiful thing is when we stop our addictions, we not only begin to heal ourselves, but our family and our communities as well. Now, there's a quote by Steve-O that I'd like to share with you. He mentioned that when you have a disease, that your only hope is to go from healing is to go back to where you were before you got the disease, say like cancer or something. However, addiction is the only disease where you come out better in the end, but that's only if you put in the work. Thanks for being here with me today.